Hello, everyone. Welcome to Barca News. It is March 7th, 2025, and Barcelona have given us an official update in regards to the Camp Nou's renovation. Also, bad news because the club's revenue has gone down. And finally, Inaki Pena has a possible new suitor. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mo, and this is the Barca News Live podcast, which is on every Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, where we discuss Barcelona news, but where I also get to interact with you lovely people in the chat section by reading your comments, answering any questions, and getting that discussion going. For those of you who will be watching when the podcast ends, I will be putting timestamps in the description, chapters in the timeline, in case you do want to skip through the discussion and get straight into the news. Having said all that, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment. If y'all looking for any Barcelona jerseys or merchandise, make sure to Goal Kids, Give Back, or Fanatics. If y'all looking to place any sports bets, make sure to bet us. All links are down below in the description. You click on them, you get access to some pretty cool deals and offers. All right, let's start with the news. And as always, the first segment of news has little bits of news combined together. It's starting with, of course, that the team trained today ahead of tomorrow's match against Osasuna. Remember, Osasuna did beat us in the first half of the season. So tomorrow we're going to have to come out a little bit stronger so we don't drop any points, because right now the race is way too close. Atletico Madrid are only 1 point behind us. Real Madrid only 3 points behind us, so we cannot drop any points. So the team needs to come out focused tomorrow. Now, of course, during the first half of the season when we lost against Osasuna, Flick kind of made a mistake. He rotated too much. And that, I think, was a result of the loss, because he put in so many players that are not starters, that were not used to playing together. That, of course, affected the performance of the team. Not to mention, it was, the beginning of the Hansi Flick era, so the team was still getting used to each other already. And then you throw in all these rotations, so that definitely affected. Hopefully that doesn't happen tomorrow, and hopefully tomorrow we can take home a victory and take home 3 very important points. But the team did train today ahead of tomorrow's match. And it is Ronald Araujo's birthday. Araujo turned 26 today. So, of course, they did the traditional, I don't know what you call it, like tunnel? I don't know. But when you run through the line of players and they all hit you, they did traditional. There's videos on it on social media. I didn't want to share it so I don't get flagged. But it was Araujo's birthday. So happy birthday to our Barcelona captain. And also during training, we did see both Gavi and Balde complete their training. And that was important, of course, because we know Balde suffered a knock to his ankle. He was suffering some pain in the match against Benfica. So he was a doubt for tomorrow. He did complete the full training today. So technically speaking, he could be available for tomorrow. We don't know whether he's going to start or play at all, but having completed all training, it looks like Balde will be available. Then there's Gavi, who was excluded out of the squad list for the Benfica match because he was dealing with some intestinal issues. They're saying like a stomach bug or stomach flu. He completed his training today too, so he should also be available for tomorrow. And that's, of course, important because we're going to need all of our players available, because I'm sure there's going to be some rotations. Remember, the Benfica match was only Wednesday night, and we already have a match tomorrow in La Liga. And then again, Benfica on Tuesday. This calendar is absolutely insane. Now, speaking of all the matches that Barcelona are having to play, of course, Hansi Flick was asked during his pre-match press conference, is he going to rotate for tomorrow's match? And while this is what the Barcelona coach had to say, we haven't decided yet, but we have to make rotations. We will put the best team on the pitch. We've managed it well, and we'll do it again tomorrow. So, of course, Flick not giving us the details, but saying that rotations will be needed. We'll see what kind of rotations. If my guess, we'll probably see Coarci tomorrow, because since A, he didn't complete the Benfica match, he only played 20 minutes because he got the red card, and B, he's not going to play on Tuesday for suspension. So my guess, we'll see probably Coarci start. We'll see who's he going to play alongside. Probably not Iñigo Martinez, because Iñigo Martinez did run a lot. Maybe Araujo, maybe Eric Garcia, right? And maybe Flick will look to rest Araujo and Iñigo, but we might see Cubarsí and Araujo because, after all, again, Araujo didn't play the full match. Plus, he hasn't played for most of the season, so he's still well rested. We'll see if Balde starts, or we might see Gerard Martin. My guess is going to be Gerard Martin, with Balde maybe coming in later or maybe not coming in at all. On the right side, that's going to be a biggie because, of course, Conde is going to need rest. He ran a lot, but I don't know how well we could do full 90 minutes with Hector Fort, or maybe Hector Fort can come in and then Conde after him, or vice versa. In the midfield, my guess we'll see Casado. We'll probably see Gavi. Olmo, he didn't play against Benfica. He might play, but maybe Flick rests him anyway, and he puts in Fermin in his place. After all, Fermin, Gavi, and Casado haven't played too much lately. And then the front three will, of course, be difficult. Lewandowski, with Lewandowski, he doesn't really run that much, so if he uses him tomorrow, it wouldn't be a big deal. But there's Rafinha and Lamine. That might be a bigger problem, especially Rafinha, because he ran a lot against Benfica. So we'll see what kind of rotations Hansi Flick does. Let me know in the chat section or in the comment section if you're watching this when it ends. Who do you think will be part of tomorrow's lineup? Now, Hansi Flick was also asked about Szczesny and his decision to make Szczesny the number one goalkeeper. And, well, this is what the German coach had to say. When you see the players in training, you get a feeling. We talk a lot with the staff about the players and what they can bring. For me, it was clear that he could play here. I decided things, but I always want to know the opinion of the other. So, in other words, Flick saw Wojciech Szczesny in training. He was like, this guy can be a starter. He asked his staff. They thought the same thing. And that's how Szczesny became number one. And, well, we see that it was the correct decision because one hell of a performance against Benfica, and he's been improving. With every match has been better than the one before. Hopefully he continues improving because part of being champions is also having a great goalkeeper in the back that can keep, the damage to a minimum. All right, let's do the chat section, and then we are going to talk about the Spotify Camp Nou's update, because this update comes directly from the club. So very exciting. And we do have new pictures as well. And we do have the first donation of tonight from Baby's Comeback, as always, supporting the channel. Thank you so much, my friend, for your generosity. But Baby's Comeback says, what's up? Should Tech extend his contract? Does that mean Pena is leaving? Would Ter Stegen get his spot back once recovered? Thoughts? All right, let's do one by one. Is Ter Stegen going to get his spot? I think so. I know a lot of people are all of a sudden like, oh, Szczesny's better. Szczesny's not better. Let's be real. I think people just have very, very short memories, and they forget how good Ter Stegen is. Sure, Szczesny's great, but I don't think he's better. I think Ter Stegen is a better goalkeeper. Not to mention, he's a more complete goalkeeper. Szczesny has really good stopping power, as we saw against Benfica. With his feet, not so much. Ter Stegen has both. So I do think that Ter Stegen will get his spot back. As far as the contract extension, it looks like it's going to happen for Szczesny. I don't see the club, especially because it looks like Pena could be leaving in the summer, right? And so if Pena does leave in the summer, I think Barcelona are going to look to extend Szczesny's contract at least by one more year, whether it's to give them time to sign another goalkeeper or whether it's to give them time to prep one of the younger goalkeepers in the academy to become the number two. Either way, it looks like Szczesny will be extending. And again, I don't have doubts that Ter Stegen is not going to be able to get his spot back. I think he's a better goalkeeper than Ter Stegen. Again, that's not to say that Szczesny's bad. I know a lot of times people, for some reason, have become so polarized that it's either black or white, and you say this guy is better than the other, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, he said he sucks. Did not say that. Szczesny's a good goalkeeper. I just think Ter Stegen is better. You could be tall, but it still have someone that's taller than you. Doesn't mean you're short. Anyways, we do have another donation. TSF Grant with the super sticker. Thank you so much, my friend. Unfortunately, stupid software does not let me see it, but don't worry, I will be rewatching the live just so I can see your sticker. I have to watch it anyway, so I can do the timestamps and the chapters in the timeline. So I'll make sure I'm even gonna remember minute 9 and 22 seconds. I'm gonna go back and watch the sticker, see what the sticker is. So thank you, my friend, for your generosity. And let's see what else is everyone saying. Andrew says, good day, Mo. I'm watching from Monrovia, Liberia. I hope FC Barcelona can defeat Osasuna tomorrow. I predict 4-1 in favor of FC Barcelona. I hope so, my friend. We need every victory from here until the end because La Liga title race is way too close for comfort. And Brian says, hey, Mo, I think we should sit Lamine and Pedri for tomorrow's match. Do you think that's too much? I think we could sit Pedri, even though to me he's the most important player of the squad, but he did run a lot. He needs to rest. But at least with sitting Pedri, is at least you get, we have so many midfielders that he can replace him. Not fully because nobody can play as good as Pedri in the midfield, but at least we have options. We have Fermin, we have Gabi, Casado, uh, Frankie, if he gets rested, again, it's completely fine because we have even Pablo Torre can come in. So we have options. The only problem with Lamine, you rest him, and it's like, who do you put in his place? Ferran Torres, Ferran is great off the bench, but not to play full 90 minutes on the right, And then even if he does play full 90 minutes, Ferran is not the same profile as Lamine, right? Ferran cannot dribble past defenders. He cannot create that space and that dangers from the flank like Lamine can. So it's like you sit Lamine and there's nobody that can replace him at all, not even close. But he will need to rest. At least he did get subbed at Benfica. He didn't play the full 90 minutes. So maybe, I don't know. But this is why we need more wingers. Raul says, Flick should he play Gavi, let alone alongside Fermin and Casado in the same team. There'll be absolute no control. We'll lose the match in the first half. We need the young Casado and Fermin. I mean, you can play Gavi and Fermin at the same time if you have Casado in the back. I mean, Gavi gives you a more defensive profile than Fermin does. Not complete defensive profile like Casado does, but that's why I think that kind of balances it out, right? With Casado, full defensive. Gavi, more defensive profile, but also has some offense. And then Fermin, who's a lot more offensive than defensive. So I think those three could play together. Obviously, it's not as good as putting Pedri and Casado and Dani Olmo, but I think those three could still work. Gabi, Fermin, as long as Casado is there. Or if not Casado, at least Frankie. Someone who can hold the midfield, because obviously Gabi and Pedri and Fermin cannot hold the midfield. But yeah. All right, let's go back to the news because we do have to talk about the Spotify Camp Nou because, ladies and gentlemen, the club has given us an official update about the Camp Nou. So this is coming straight from the club. This is not the media reporting about it. This is not the people who live around the Camp Nou. There's a lot of neighbors around the Camp Nou who've started their own channels and they outdo daily updates. They have their camera set up. There's even like 24-hour live feeds. You can look it up on YouTube. But no, this is straight from the club. This is not from any other sources. And this is what the club have said about our stadium. Now, they have updated us, of course, about the progress. And it goes as follows. Now, the installation of the ventilation systems to keep the grass cool has been completed. Which, by the way, before today, I had no idea that they installed ventilation systems for grass because apparently this ventilation system, it keeps the grass cool and it maintains the health of the roots. Man, this grass is living better than most people. So good job, grass. Also, the drainage system to remove the rainwater, when it's raining heavy so it doesn't puddle up, that's also complete, right? So ventilation system is complete, drainage system is complete. Now they're starting to install the heating and cooling system of the playing surface. Again, before today, I had no idea that grass had heating and cooling system, not just ventilation system to keep it like, ooh, nice and cool, but they also have cooling and heating. I'm telling you, this grass is living better than most people. So that ventilation is done, drainage is done, heating and cooling is being installed. After that, they're gonna roll out the grass in the months of either April or May. So that's pretty cool. We're going to have a pitch pretty soon. As far as the seats, 39,000 seats, close to 40,000 seats have been completely installed. Now, remember, when the Camp Nou reopens, it's going to have approximately 66,000 capacity. So 2/3 of those seats have already been installed, with the last third yet to be completed. So definitely some advances, but by no means does this mean that we're going to be back at the Camp Nou soon. Don't let that fool you, right? Yes, the pitch will be installed in April or May. Yes, technically speaking, by April, May, they could probably have all the seats installed in the first two rings. But that doesn't mean we're going to go back to the Camp Nou anytime soon. As we know, some reports have come out saying that we're probably not going to go back till October of this year, with some reports even saying not till January of next year. Now, you might ask why. If the pitch is ready, if the seats are ready, why can't we go back? And it all that it all lies in the third ring. That's where the problem lies. Now, if you don't know by now, I've talked about this extensively, but the previous Camp Nou had 3 rings. Okay, 3 seating rings. The third ring was completely demolished. Here you can see the picture. As you can see to the right, you can see that old third ring. To the left, part of the third ring is been demolished. So the third ring was completely demolished, right? That only left the first 2 rings, which are the original first 2 rings. These are the original rings when the stadium was first built in 1957. These 2 rings have been completely revamped. They haven't been demolished. Only the third ring was demolished. The first 2 got completely revamped. And when the stadium reopens, those are the 2 rings that people are going to use. The third ring is not going to be ready when the stadium reopens. Okay. But what's the problem? Even if the pitch is completely installed, and even if all the seats are installed in these first 2 rings, and even if everything else is done, the hallways, the bathrooms, electricity, water, sewer, the problem remains in the third ring. And that's that you cannot reopen the stadium until the third ring is fully built. Why is that? Because in order to build the third ring, you need, of course, big cranes to carry construction material. You need heavy machinery. You're transporting these huge beams of metal, cement slabs, you name it. And you can't have people walking in and out of the stadium when there's cranes above them transporting things and heavy machinery. Someone could end up dead, right? So until the third ring is fully built, the stadium cannot reopen. Once that third ring is built, then they can remove the cranes, they can remove the heavy machinery. People can start using the first 2 rings while the third rings are being done from the inside, right? Because you can build it from the outside and then start doing the inside, the walls, electricity, pipes, sewer, blah, 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 blah. So that's the problem. Until the third ring is completed, fans cannot go back to the stadium. Even if the first 2 rings are 100% done, and even if the pitch is 100% done, you just cannot go back. Now, the club has released more pictures, which I would love to share with you. Again, these are pictures of the seats. You can see at the top the metal beams. That's what's going to be part of the third ring that they're currently adding. Here's more pictures of the seats. Again, 2/3 of the seats have been installed, or at least 2/3 of the 60% capacity that the stadium is going to have when it reopens. And then that's not the stadium. That's John Laporta. All right, let's get back to the news. No, not news. Chat section. And then we'll do the news. We'll talk about the club's finances. All right, Curtis says, I will put Araujo on the right back. The last time we lose to Steve Ford couldn't handle Brian Zaragoza. He is a problem. You know what? That's a really good point. I had not thought about that. That's a really good suggestion. You can have Cubarsi. I think Cubarsi is going to start because it doesn't make sense to rest him because A, he didn't play. He only played 20 minutes against Benfica, and B, on Tuesday, he's not going to play. He's suspended. So, yeah, I think you can have Cubarsi, Eddie Garcia as our 2 center backs. By the way, they play really well together. We saw it in the past. I think there's maybe 1 or 2 matches where they played together. They really know how to play together. Why? Because they won the Olympic gold together. So they know each other. So you can easily have Cubarsi and Eddie Garcia as our 2 center backs. Araujo as our right back, since Araujo, has not been playing all season. So he's still fresh, technically speaking. And on the left, you can have Gerard Martin. So I like that. Right there. You just rested your whole defensive line. Now, of course, the only worry would be if Araujo does arrive maybe tired for the Benfica match, because Araujo is going to have to play against Benfica on Tuesday because, of course, Cubarsi will be suspended. So Inigo will be back in the lineup, but, who do you play Inigo with? You're going to have to play him with Araujo. So that's the only concern. Maybe you can have Araujo play part of the match as a right back, and then the second half or vice versa have Hector Fort. So that's also an option. But, yeah, good suggestion. I like that. By the way, Brian Zaragoza spends the whole season doing nothing. And then when he plays against Barca, he becomes like prime Messi. I don't know how that works. Javon says, Ter Stegen is a good goalkeeper, but I'm the only one who thinks he's overrated. He works for his place and not to be automatic starter. No, I don't think so. I think Mark Ter Stegen has been easily top 3 goalkeepers in Europe. I don't think there's anything overrated about him. But that's just my opinion. Julia says, hey, Mo, do you think Barcelona wants to renew Frankie at the same wages in order to seek a higher sale price for him in the summer? Because we will have Marc Bernal coming back that midfield. Not that I'm aware of. Flick really counts on Frankie, and that's why the part of the reason why the club are renewing him. Because that's a risky play. I mean, Frankie has already said he doesn't want to leave when his contract was expiring in 2026. So to extend it by 3 more years, thinking then he's really gonna leave, it just doesn't make sense to me. If you really want to get rid of the player, then might as well wait 1 more year for him to leave. Sure, it would be free, but I mean, so far he said he's not leaving. So why would you extend 3 more years? And now, if you try to sell him in the summer and he still says no, crap, now you're stuck with him for 3 more years rather than just one. So no, I don't think that's why Barcelona are doing it. I think it's a very, very stupid mistake. I don't think he deserves the salary that Barcelona have agreed to pay him. And now there's no excuse, right? Before it was like, oh, it was Bartomeu. Bartomeu gave him that contract, right? And Bartomeu was horrible. He gave everybody ridiculous contracts. Okay, sure. Now what's your excuse? Bartomeu's gone. You can't blame this on him. Now you're the one who's offering him a ridiculous salary. Plus, again, how weak does Barcelona look? They say, hey, man, we're tired of you. Offers withdrawn. We're not renewing you. You better come to us. You better reduce your salary. Actually, never mind. You want to renew, please? Like, you just look stupid. This is like the parent who tells your kid, you're grounded, no cell phone usage. And then 5 minutes later, here's a cell phone. Go have fun. How is your kid ever going to take you seriously? He's not, because he knows that your threats are empty. Same thing with the club. But anyways, Zach Urban says, I remember Szczesny playing with Arsenal against us in the 2000 UCL. Crazy that he's still at the top of his game. Yeah. I mean, Szczesny has always been like top 10 goalkeepers in Europe. And there he is showing us why he's been top 10 goalkeepers in Europe. All right, let's get back to the news because we do have to talk about Barcelona's finances because, ladies and gentlemen, we do have bad news, and that is that Barcelona's revenue has decreased. Now, the list of the highest revenue generating clubs has been released, and number one is, of course, Real Madrid, who broke the 1 billion euro mark. They've earned more than 1 billion euro marks. That's, of course, thanks to their new stadium, to the new Santiago Bernabeu, who not only generates, ticketing from matches, but they've also been holding concerts, which is now on pause, and all kinds of events because it's too loud. You can't soundproof it. It's a complete mess. That stadium is a complete mess. It took way longer than it was supposed to. It ended up being double what it cost. It was supposed to cost 700,000. Ended up being 1.5 billion. It was supposed to be soundproof so they can hold concerts in the neighbors because the Bernabeu is sitting dead middle in the city. There's houses all around it, so they're supposed to be soundproof so they can hold concerts. It's not soundproof at all. Experts have said there's no way to soundproof it. It's impossible. So without the soundproofing, you can't really hold concerts. But anyways, I don't want to get into it. It's a complete mess. But thanks to that mess of their new stadium, Real Madrid have been number one as the highest revenue generating club in the world. Now, Barcelona are currently in number 6 with 764 million euros. So Barcelona generated 764 million euros in the year 2024, and that's a 6% decline in the club's revenues from the previous year in 2023. And in fact, alongside Juventus, Barcelona and Juventus are the two only clubs that saw a decrease in their revenue, while everyone else saw an increase in their revenue. Now, why is that? Of course, the stadium, Montjuic, right? Montjuic only has, 54,000 capacity, but a lot of it doesn't get used because it's not really a stadium that was built for football. It was a stadium built for the Olympics. So there's a lot of seats where the visibility is awful. So whenever you watch the matches, you can see the first rows are covered with like a red cloth. So once you remove all those seats with terrible viewing, the capacity usually gets reduced to 46,000 people, which is not a lot, right? Compared to the Camp Nou, which was 90,000+ people. Now you're talking about half of the capacity. So huge loss in ticketing there. Not to mention that people don't want to go to Montjuic, right? People don't want to go up all the way to the top of the mountain. It's cold, it's windy, it's far. So that's even reduces the revenue even more. Plus, not to mention the Camp Nou. If you've ever been to Camp Nou, they have the museum, they have the store. So a lot of people, when they go, they make it a full day event. They go to the museum, they buy the tickets, they go to the store, they buy merchandise, and then they go into the stadium and watch a match, right? All that is gone. When you go to Montjuic, there is no museum, there is no store, there's nothing. So huge loss of revenue, 6% from the year before. But Barcelona did rank fourth in commercial revenue, having generated 383 million euros in sponsorship revenue and similar kind of revenue. And this, of course, thanks to the good work of Jean Laporta, who's been an absolute machine when it comes to signing sponsors. 30 plus new sponsors that Jean Laporta has signed, and that has landed us as the fourth highest, the club with the fourth highest commercial revenue. But this is where it comes. As far as ticketing, we're all the way down to seventh with only 160 million euro from match day revenue. Now, with this decrease, obviously Barcelona are going to have to make up for it. Otherwise, our financial fair play could suffer. One way they can do that is through the Champions League, because under the new format, you can generate more money. Also, the further you go in a competition, you generate more money. So far, Barcelona are the second highest earning club in all of the Champions League. Of course, thanks to the fact that we finished second on the table, having earned 55.1 million euros. And the further we go, the more money we will make. All right, let's get back to the chat section, and then we are going to talk about Inaki Pena. But first, we do have a donation from Edwin K. Thank you so much, my friend, for your generosity. But Edwin K says, hey, Mo, what's your thoughts on Flick's man management? I think he's done a great job managing Eagles, both with younger and older players. I think so, too. It's very, very visible how close-knit this locker room is. I mean, every time someone scores, the whole team just runs and they hug each other, and you can see that they're not, the player who scores is not celebrating scoring goal. He's celebrating that the team scored a goal, right? It's like a collective achievement, and they all celebrate it as such, right? For example, when Gerard Martin scored against Real Sociedad, right, his first goal ever in first division, that was Dani Olmo's goal. He shoots, sorry, not Gerard Martin, Marc Casado. Dani Olmo shoots the ball, and the ball deflects off Casado and goes in the goal. Does Dani Olmo get mad? No. This guy just robbed him of a goal, but he doesn't care because that's his teammate, and he's so happy that his teammate just scored his first goal ever in first division, and he just runs to him, and he's celebrating with him, and everybody runs, and they're all just super happy because Casado just scored his first goal in first division. The same thing with Gerard Martin. Like when he scored his first goal, everybody just went, and they were so happy for him, and you see how close-knit the squad is, and a lot of it, yes, has to do with Hansi Flick, because when you have a leader that cares about you, that inspires you, that might be strict, but you see that his rules and his strictness have a purpose. It's not just random rules that this guy makes up just so he can punish you for it. And then you start to believe, because you're like, I have every reason to believe this guy cares about me. His methods might be strict, might be crazy, but look, they're working. Like, what is there not to believe? And I think that's the beauty about it, because Flick also believes in the players. I mean, you hear it every press conference. He comes out and says, I'm so happy here. These are the best players. This is the best academy. This is the best squad. And then you used to watch previous coaches like Xabi or Koeman or even Setien, and they would come out, well, this is what we got. That's why we're losing. This is what we got. Kind of like, oh, I have shitty players, so this is why I'm doing like shit. While Flick is over here like, dude, I have the best fucking players. I have the best squad. Like, you guys are. So he believes in the players. Of course, the players believe in him. And you see it. You see it reflected in the match. You see it reflected in the practices. You see it all the time, because that's what it's like to have a proper coach. And by the way, last season, everybody was talking about how shitty our squad was, because they believed what Xavi was selling them, that the problem were the players, not him. And now look, same exact players, night and day difference. That's what having an elite coach looks like. All right, let's do the last bit of news, and then we'll do more comments. But we do have to talk about Inaki Pena, because, ladies and gentlemen, the Barcelona goalkeeper does have some interest, and this interest comes from the Turkish club Galatasaray. Now, as you might recall, Inaki Pena went to Galatasaray back in 2022 on loan because at the time, Muslera, who's Galatasaray's goalkeeper, got injured. So Galatasaray signed Inaki Pena on loan for the second half of the season. He did really well, Inaki. He played 8 matches. He had really good performances, including a really good performance against Barcelona in the round of 16 of the Champions League. And that, of course, has stayed with Galatasaray. They remember Inaki Pena's good time at the club. And as such, now that Inaki Pena has lost his starting spot to Wojciech Szczesny, and with Marter Stegen coming back pretty soon from injury, of course, Inaki's got to be relegated to third goalkeeper, and there's a good chance that he could end up leaving. And therefore, Galatasaray, seeing that, have reached out to the player's entourage to see if he will be interested to go back to the Turkish club. Why? Because Muslera is now 38 years old. His contract expires at the end of the season. And Muslera has said that once his contract expires, he wants to go back to Uruguay and just retire there. So they're going to be left without a starting goalkeeper. And since Inaki impressed when he was there, Galatasaray would like to have Inaki as their potential starting goalkeeper. And this might be a good, opportunity for the goalkeeper, for Inaki, because, he's not going to be the starting goalkeeper at Barcelona. If Szczesny renews, Inaki's not even going to be the second goalkeeper at Barcelona. So this might be a good chance for him to go and search for minutes somewhere else. Now, for now, it's just interest from Galatasaray. They've simply picked up the phone and said, hey, what do you think? We're interested. Let us know. We'll see how the player reacts, whether the player decides to go there, stay in Barcelona, or maybe go somewhere else. Anyways, let's get back to the comment section. Let's see, where did we leave off? David says, I wouldn't play Ter Stegen until next season. He'll be coming back at a crucial time of the season, and we can't take a chance on his form after his previous surgery. He was horrible for a while. I disagree about that last part. Actually, after his back surgery, that's when he had one of his best seasons in most recent years. Because, he had that back injury that he played the whole season with, and that was kind of affecting his performance. He couldn't lift heavy. It was affecting his reaction time. Then he goes in the summer, he immediately, as soon as the season's over, he gets that back surgery. And then the following season, he was just absolutely stellar. So I don't think he sucked after his last surgery. Now, of course, that's still a concern for this one. Just because he was great after his last surgery doesn't mean he's going to be great after this one. So, that's what practice is for, right? Once Ter Stegen is back declared fit, you can try him out in practices and you see. His form is still off, then maybe you keep Szczesny. But if you see him, okay, no, he can handle being a starter, then put him back. Biska Michael says, hey, Mo, I'm trying to plan a trip to Barcelona for May 2026. Do you think we will be back at the Camp Nou? Also, any tips? Yes. Well, at least I hope so. Right now, they're saying either October of this year or at the latest January of next year. By May of 2026, I would say yes, it should be. We should be back. As far as tips, what can I say? Keep your cell phone in your front pocket and your wallet in your front pocket. There's a lot of pickpocketers in Barcelona. You could take the metro or you could just walk everywhere. Everything's really close, especially if you stay in the center area. Definitely take the bus from the airport. They have that direct line that goes from the airport to Plaza Catalunya or Plaza España. Definitely do that. What else? And then just eat a lot. It's really good food. And then stay away from, I wouldn't stay anywhere near the big tourist hotspots like the Gothic Quarter or Plaza Catalunya, especially at the Gothic Quarter because everything's so old. There's not even AC. Like I said, the Camp Nou is grass. Is living better than most people. But definitely stay away from those areas. Just they're too crowded, and it's just it's hard to enjoy it when it's so crowded. Let's see. Ruggiero says, first time watching live from Italy. Let's go. Keep killing it. Happy Rafinha is making you proud now. Bisca Barça. All right. I'm pretty sure you're the first person from Italy to comment on one of the live streams. So welcome, my friend. I'm very curious. What part of Italy? If you can let me know in the chat section, that'd be amazing. And Sunwick says, greetings from Suriname. After the Benfica 0-1 win, I am really starting to believe we can win important titles. Absolutely, my friend. I think this team has shown that not only do they have the talent to win it, but they also have the mental fortitude They have the fighting spirit. And yes, this team has showed that they can compete for any trophy. Now, whether we end up winning or not, I don't know. We might not end up winning anything, God forbid. But I think we have what it takes to be able to win it, which might not sound different, but it is, because you could be, you it could be worse, right? You could be not being able to compete for anything and therefore not win anything, versus at least being able to compete and maybe you win it, maybe you don't, but at least you have a shot. Right? Like if you are, I don't know, Valencia this season, you don't have what it takes to compete for anything, right? And therefore, you're not going to win anything. So I think we have a team that is able to compete for any trophy. Richard says, Mo, your fan from Liberia. I appreciate your amazing work as always. Thank you, my friend. Thank you for watching and for your comment. And Dwayne says, greetings from Jamaica. All right. The Caribbean in the house. And Rogero says, I'm in Vicenza. Vicenza. I don't think, and forgive my geography ignorance, but I don't think I know where Vicenza is. But I will Google it. I promise that. King City FX says, Mo, so far, what's the best highlight of the season so far, in your opinion? Whoo, my friend, you are hitting me with the tough questions. Which, by the way, speaking of questions, the press conferences, in the pre-match press conferences, which I always watch them so I can make the videos, are getting so ridiculous lately, where the reporters, the questions are just keep getting worse and worse and worse. It's getting to the point where Flick, when he gets asked these stupid questions, he just like laughs, or he's like, you can see it in his face, like, what the fuck is wrong with you? But this question, amazing. King City FX, maybe you should be going to these press conferences and asking the tough questions, because these reporters are not doing it. Let me see. Highlights. I mean, look, the 0-4 at the Bernabeu and a 2-5 in the Spanish Super Cup final, that has to be top highlights for me, because it's Madrid. And whenever you beat Madrid is always a great day. And then on top of that, it was a thrashing. It wasn't even we beat Madrid, we destroyed Madrid, we humiliated Madrid. So I think those two have to be like some of the best highlights of the season. Bayern Munich, I think after so many defeats at their hands, it was really nice to see we finally got them back. And I think the Benfica match, the 5-4, right? Even though we played awful, the fact that we got a 4-5, 4-5, those 9 goals in one match. We were down 3-1 in the halftime. And to be able to come back from that, that was absolutely amazing for me. And even this last Benfica match, 0-1 with a man down most of the match, I think that's pretty amazing. But obviously the 4-5 is a lot more exciting because so many goals, and the way it ended in the stoppage time with Ferran making that incredible pass to Rafinha doing that amazing run and scoring as the rain is coming down. And then I think those are some of my best highlights. But of course, the season's not over, so hopefully we'll have way better highlights than that. I think the perfect season would be if we met Real Madrid in the final of the Copa del Rey, thrashed them again, became champions of the cup. Then for La Liga title race to remain close until May, and then Barcelona play Real Madrid in a second Clásico match in La Liga, beat them, and thanks to that victory, we end up champions of La Liga, and then meet Real Madrid in the final of the Champions League, which is possible. It is possible based on what's called on the bracket, and then we end up beating them and being able to be Champions League champions. That'd be amazing. Can you imagine 3 finals, beating them in all 3 finals? Yeah, and be champions, and then beating them twice in La Liga and also end up champions. I mean, that'd be one hell of a highlight. I think after that, I would just retire from watching football. I'll be like, all right, it's over for me. This is the best season. It's as best as it's gonna get. I'm not watching football again. I'm shutting down the channel. I'm moving into a cave and not watching TV ever again. Ibrahim says, thank you, Mo, for your good work. Love from Sierra Leone. Thank you, my friend. Thank you for watching and for your support. And Ignacio says, Pedri has been the highlight of the season so far. Absolutely. I think for me, Pedri this season has been the best player. And that's really tough too, because so many players have been phenomenal. Rafinha has been phenomenal. Lamine has been phenomenal. Cubarsí, my God. Iñigo Martinez, holy shit. Balde is like becoming the best left back in the world. Kunde, he's either the best right back or the worst. There's no middle for this guy. Like some of the mistakes he makes is dumb, but nonetheless, he's had more great moments than bad ones. Casado, up until he became a substitute, has been phenomenal. I mean, there's been so much great things to see this season. But yeah, Pedri probably the most important player on the squad. Absolutely, 100%. And King City says that Benfica first game for me is the highlight of the season. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what a win. What a win. I mean, I lost my voice watching that match. It was crazy. And Baggio says, oh, I knew you jumped my first comment after King City. I did. My bad, my friend. My bad. I try my best to read everybody's comment, but of course it's difficult. And having said that, let's end this live stream because, ladies and gentlemen, I still have to make one more video. There is more news, believe it or not. Anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you for your likes, your comments, your incredibly generous donations. If you haven't hit the like button yet, make sure you do. It's the best way you can support this channel. It prompts the algorithm to recommend the channel to people who've never seen it. If you haven't subscribed yet, also do. Please, all of it is free. Takes a second. I will see you in tonight's video. And as always, Bisca Barcelona.